The convoy commander thought he had solved the problem. For 3 months, every attempt to intercept the shipments had failed. Satellites tracked them. Patrol aircraft photographed them. Governments issued statements about them. And yet the cargo kept moving. Every week another vessel crossed the northern sea route carrying components that were not supposed to be there. Every week another inspection team arrived too late. Every week another captain collected his payment and disappeared beyond the horizon. That morning, Commander Alexander Petrov believed he had found the answer. If inspectors could board merchant ships, then merchant ships would no longer travel alone. Simple. Effective. And, in his opinion, impossible to challenge. His escort force was small but intimidating. A modern missile corvette. A fast patrol vessel. 2 armed helicopters. More than enough to discourage customs officials, coast guards, and anyone else interested in asking inconvenient questions. Behind them sailed the cargo ship Northern Venture. Officially, she carried industrial machinery. Unofficially, nobody seemed eager to inspect the containers stacked 6 stories above her deck. Petrov watched the convoy from the bridge of the corvette Resolute. The weather was perfect. Visibility stretched for miles. The sea was calm. Radar screens showed nothing unusual. His operators reported no nearby threats. His communications officer monitored civilian traffic. Everything looked exactly as it should. Which was precisely why nobody noticed the surveillance aircraft. The aircraft never approached. Never transmitted. Never illuminated the convoy with radar. It simply remained far beyond visual range and watched. Hour after hour. Collecting information. Recording positions. Building a picture. The convoy crossed another 100 nautical miles. Nothing happened. Petrov relaxed. The patrol vessel relaxed. The merchant captain relaxed. The helicopter crews began discussing dinner plans. Confidence spread through the task force like sunlight. That confidence lasted until 10:17. The first sign was a radar contact. Small. Slow. Directly ahead. The operator initially assumed it was a fishing vessel. There were dozens in the region. Nobody paid attention. Then another contact appeared. And another. And another. Within minutes the screen showed an entire cluster of civilian vessels. Fishing boats. Research ships. Cargo barges. A strange collection of traffic occupying the exact route the convoy intended to follow. Petrov frowned. The formation made no sense. Civilian captains rarely coordinated that closely. He ordered identification checks. The results created more questions than answers. Every vessel was legally registered. Every transponder was functioning. Every ship appeared legitimate. Yet somehow they had formed a floating wall across the shipping lane. The convoy slowed. The merchant ship slowed even more. Nobody wanted a collision. Petrov ordered the civilian vessels to clear the route. No response. He transmitted again. Nothing. The fishing boats continued drifting. The research vessel continued drifting. The barges continued drifting. As though they had not heard him. The convoy reduced speed further. 5 knots. Then 3. Then nearly stopped. The merchant ship behind him was now effectively motionless. Petrov felt irritation replacing confidence. He demanded updates. His officers had none. The civilian vessels remained exactly where they were. Then a second report arrived. This one from electronic surveillance. Several of the civilian ships were exchanging encrypted signals. Not marine traffic. Military-grade communications. The bridge became very quiet. Petrov immediately understood what that meant. The vessels blocking his route were not random. Someone had placed them there. Someone had planned this. Someone had known exactly where his convoy would be. He ordered helicopters airborne. Within minutes the aircraft lifted from the deck. Their pilots accelerated toward the obstruction. Petrov expected answers. Instead, he received another surprise. The helicopters reported multiple unmanned surface craft operating between the civilian ships. Dozens of them. Small, fast, and positioned with remarkable precision. They created a maze that no large vessel could safely navigate. The convoy was trapped. Not by warships. Not by missiles. Not by aircraft. By geometry. By positioning. By planning. And by patience. The merchant captain called repeatedly asking for instructions. Petrov had none. The route ahead was blocked. The route behind was narrowing. Every minute more civilian traffic entered the area. Every minute maneuvering space disappeared. The convoy had become stationary. Then the message arrived. Not through military channels. Not through diplomatic channels. Through the International Maritime Safety Frequency. Every vessel in the region heard it. Every harbor authority. Every Coast Guard station. Every commercial captain. The voice was calm, professional, and completely unconcerned. Convoy resolute, this is Maritime Inspection Task Group 7. A pause followed. We have established a temporary inspection zone in your vicinity. Another pause. We request the merchant vessel Northern Venture prepare to receive inspectors. Petrov stared at the radio speaker. The transmission continued. Your escort vessels are not the subject of inspection. Another pause. Please avoid unnecessary maneuvering. Traffic density is already challenging. The bridge crew exchanged looks. Nobody knew what to say. The message had been polite, technically reasonable, and devastating. The merchant captain protested immediately. His arguments lasted less than 3 minutes. Legal authorities joined the frequency. Then insurance representatives. Then maritime regulators. Each organization cited different regulations. Each organization pointed to different authorities. Together they formed a bureaucratic avalanche. The merchant vessel's options vanished one by one. Petrov listened in disbelief. Months of planning. Weeks of coordination. Thousands of miles traveled. And now the mission was being dismantled by paperwork and positioning. The inspectors arrived 47 minutes later. Not aboard warships. Aboard ordinary patrol craft. The boarding itself was uneventful. No weapons drawn. No dramatic confrontation. No shouting. Just professionals carrying clipboards and scanners. The process lasted nearly 2 hours. For 2 hours the escort force could do nothing. The helicopters circled. The corvette waited. The patrol vessel waited. The convoy commander waited. Everyone watched. Everyone recorded. Everyone understood exactly what was happening. The inspection team eventually completed its work. Their findings traveled through official channels at extraordinary speed. By sunset, regulators announced multiple violations. The cargo ship would be diverted for further investigation. Its voyage was over. The merchant captain received the news first. Then Petrov. Then the officials who had organized the mission. Silence followed. Long silence. The kind of silence that appears when nobody can think of a useful explanation. The Northern Venture altered course. Slowly. Reluctantly. Escorted not by military vessels but by regulatory authorities. Petrov watched her disappear toward the western horizon. The ship he had been ordered to protect was leaving. Without him, there was nothing he could do about it. The civilian vessels gradually dispersed. The unmanned craft vanished. The helicopters returned to their decks. The shipping lane reopened. Within an hour it looked as though nothing unusual had happened. But everyone involved knew better. The operation had failed. Not because of superior firepower. Not because of a naval battle. Not because of a missile strike. It had failed because somebody understood the rules better than they did. As darkness approached, Petrov submitted his report. He revised it 6 times. Each version sounded worse than the previous one. Eventually he settled on a brief summary. Mission interrupted by coordinated maritime activity. That description was technically accurate. It was also deeply incomplete. Far away, analysts reviewed recordings from the operation. They noted every movement, every transmission, every decision. Lessons would be written. Procedures would change. Future commanders would study what happened. And somewhere in the Northern Sea, commercial traffic continued moving through calm water as though the entire incident had never occurred. The ocean kept its secrets. The convoy lost its cargo. And the planners responsible for the operation learned an expensive lesson. Sometimes the most effective blockade is the one that never fires a shot.